Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. We're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 2, and we're up to verse 22. Kai hoti eplethes en hai hemerai tu katharismu auton kataton nomon mousios. And when the days of their purification, katharismos, and katharisdo to purify, so when the days of their purification were full, so were over. We've seen this expression before. It's a Hebraic type expression. Kataton nomon Moses, according to the law of Moses. Anagon auton. This is from anago. We get the agagon root here, which is the aorist. They brought him up. Eis hierosoluma. Now there are several different spellings of this in the New Testament. We get this particular one here, and with no great distinction, we're going to get a slightly different spelling here again later. So they brought him up into Jerusalem, parastasai to kurio, literally to cause him to stand beside, so to present him to kurios, to the Lord. Kathos gegraptai in nomo kuriou hotipan esen dianoigon metron hagion to kurio klethesatai. Now this is a quotation from Exodus 13. So as it is written in the law of Yahweh, and then this is the quotation, Pan asen di anoigon. This is a neuter participle, although this means male. It's a neuter form here. So every male opening, metron is another word for the womb. Klethesatai from Kaleo, he will be called Hagion, holy to the Lord. So they brought him up. So this is all resting on the fact that this verb we had anagogon, they brought him up, and also so as to make or to give thusian, a sacrifice, kata to eremenon, according to that which has been said. This is the perfect passive participle from lego. Ento nomo kuriou, in the law of Yahweh. Tseugos trugonon eduonosus peristeron. Now, tseugos is a yoke, or a pair. So it's a pair, trugonon. A trugon is a turtle dove, or some sort of dove of some sort, generally translated as turtle dove. Or duonosus, two chicks of doves. Peristera is the word for dove. And so these are two chicks, nosos with the double sigma, of doves. Kai idu anthropos ein in hierosulem hoi onoma Simeon, kai ho anthropos hutos de kaios, kai eulabes pros dekominos parakles into Israel, kai pneuma ein hagion ep auton. And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem. As I mentioned, different spellings. We've had a different spelling from up here. It's just variation, variatio. So there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. So for whom name Simeon. And this man, understand, was dikaios kai eulabes. He was righteous, and eulabes, interesting word. It's only used by Luke. It means devout or pious. You'll see it again in Luke. The original meaning, you can see from the roots of you and the lab root, it meant to take a good hold of. And then it came to mean to be cautious or careful, and hence to be careful about how you conduct yourself. And then eventually it comes to mean devout or pious. The word is not used in classical Greek. And he was prostekominos, waiting for, or looking for, expecting the paraklesis to Israel, the consolation of Israel. This is from Paracalio. Again, slightly, you need to consult commentaries on all of this, exactly what this expression means. Presumably he's waiting for the Messiah to come. Kai pneuma ein hagion epauton. Now we get a delayed adjective here. It's sometimes called hyperbaton, where you've got the noun and the adjective's been separated from it. Greek can do this, it's just stylistic. Luke is just doing it for because he can, I think, here. So there's nothing particularly theological here. And a Holy Spirit, no article was upon him. Kai ein auto kekrematismenon hupatou pneumatos tu hagiou meidein thanaton prin an ide ton Christon kuriou. Now we get this funny verb here, kekrematismenon. This is a perfect passive participle from krematisdo. Krematisdo in the active means to do kremata, to do business activity. That's not the meaning here. It's probably connected here with another verb, kraamai, which in classical Greek means to consult an oracle. So it's probably more connected with that than this doing business, and in that case it means here it means to reveal or to impart a revelation. And we're getting it used in a periphrastic usage for pluperfect, so it had been revealed to him. From this kraamai, that some revelation from God, some oracle from God, it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit, with the article this time. Now, slightly funny grammar here. Me idein thanaton. We have to understand auton. For him not to see death, prin an ide, before he might see the Messiah of Yahweh. Now the a is in brackets here because in New Testament Greek you generally do get prin a together. It's an ionic expression. You'll see it in Homer and Herodotus. In classical Greek you don't have the a, and presumably someone at some point had added in the a because that's what commonly appears in the New Testament, but it's not in the oldest manuscripts. Anyway, the meaning of it's all perfectly clear. So he had been it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he might see the Messiah of Yahweh. Kai eilthen ento pneumati est to hieron, and he went in the Spirit into the temple. So he's in some sort of divine state here. Kai ento es agagain tu skones to paidion Iesun tu poiesai autus katato aithis menon tu nomu peri autu. Now here we're getting n with the articular infinitive, and eis agagain is the aorist infinitive from eis ago. And the subject of the infinitive, of course, goes into the accusative. So while the gones, the parents, this is the accusative plural from gonius. In classical Greek you probably get goneas, but you get the nominative and accusative are often become the same for these nouns in use, like basil use, it's a third declension. So while the parents were bringing in the boy, Jesus, 2 plus infinitive, so, and also the subject of the infinitive in the accusative, so that they might perform, or might act, or might do, kata to ethis menon, according to that which had been laid down by custom, that which was customary of the law regarding him. The verb here is ethisdo, and you get a lengthening here. This is the perfect passive participle from ethisdo. So according to that which was become customary, that was laid down by custom of the law regarding him. Kai autos edexato auto est to tas enkalas ta eulogesen ton nomon kai apen. And he himself, so he, that this is referring back to this Simeon, he took or received our top, it's neuter because it's top paidion, the boy, into his arms. The word here is ankale, first declension, into his arms, and he blessed God and said, and now we get this so-called nunc dimittis, often used in liturgies, nun apot lues tondulon su despota, katatorema su inirene. Now, generally translated, now let your servant depart in peace according to your word, O Lord. But it is actually apolues, it's now you are releasing, it's actually a present. So now you are letting go, you're releasing, i.e., you know, he's going to die soon. You are now releasing your servant, Master, according to your word, and releasing him in peace. Hoti adon, hoi ophthalmoi mu to soterion su. Because my eyes saw, we normally say have seen, your salvation, to soterion su. Ho is neuter, referring back to tot soterion, which you have prepared from hetoi masdo, kata prosopon out panton ton laon, literally before the face of all the people. Phos eis apocalypsin ethnon, literally a light, so this is in apposition to everything here, a light for the revealing, for the revelation. And we get a genitive, probably an objective genitive, a revelation for the Gentiles. Kai doxan lau su Israel, and the glory of your people Israel. Kai en hopate autu kai hemete thaumazontes epi, and his father and his mother, thaumazontes, being amazed. We get a plural here. We've got two singular subjects, but we're getting a plural participle here, and we're getting it with ein. Oh, yeah, interesting. So we get his father was, and his mother, the two of them amazed. So rather odd grammar here. Normally in this construction you get one subject here, which is singular, and singular verb and singular participle, and then the second subject just comes in there and it doesn't change the number. But here, oddly enough, we're getting a singular verb here with a plural participle, so the grammar's a bit odd here. So his father and his mother were amazed, epi tois lalumenois periautu, the things being said, passive from lalio, about him. Kai eulogesen autus Simeon, kai epen pros Mariam ten matera autu, and he blessed them, so Simeon blessed them, and said to Mary his mother, Idu hutos ketai es ptosin kai anastasin polon en to Israel kai es semeon antilegomenon. Now this is a funny verse. Again, you should consult the commentaries here on this. But it's literally, behold, he lies as a ptosis. Now this is connected with the verb pipto, to fall. In pipt, the pit root in pipto is being used here, turned into an abstract noun, a ptosis, of falling. So literally, as a falling and an anastasis, a rising of many. So often translated that he will cause a falling and a rising of many in Israel. But it's literally, he lies as a falling and a rising of many in Israel. Anastasis, of course, can also mean resurrection, but here I think it's just it's with this one, falling and rising of many in Israel, and es semeon antilegomenon, funny expression here, a sign, it's a sign that is, it's anti plus lego, that's spoken against. So as a sign that is spoken against. So in other words, he's going to cause some division. Now the grammar breaks off here. There's a little dash the editor's put in here, but it's not too bad. Kai su de autes, probably because there's another dash down here, so this is sort of slipped in here. And kai su de autes temp suken de lucitai romphea. Now romphea is probably one of these Macedonian words, these that come into the language. It's common in the Septuagint. It means a sword. It can also mean a lance. It's connected with a verb rembo or rembomai, to whir, or to make a buzzing noise or a whirring noise. And you can imagine a large broad sword which is being wielded would make that sort of noise, from rembo. We actually get our word rhombus from this as well, by the way. Anyway, a romphea is a Macedonian word for sword. It's not the usual classical word. And a sword will pierce, will pass through your own soul. Again, I leave to the commentators to discuss this in more detail. Now, the editor thinks that this has come in between the two bits, and probably it does, so they put a little dash here, hopos, so that the dialogismoi, the thoughts, might be, well, revealed. This is the, might be revealed, this is the passive subjunctive here, might be revealed from many hearts. So the thoughts of many hearts might be revealed. And it's probably logically meant to be taken with the end of the previous verse, with this bit as a kind of interpolation. Kai en hana, notice there's a breathing here, but it normally just translated as Anna, prophetis. This is another lovely example of where Luke will use special feminine forms for when he's referring to women, rather than just using some generic masculine form. He uses a fairly rare word, a prophetis, a prophetess. And Anna was a prophetess, the Thugater Phanuel, the daughter of Phanuel, Ekphules Aser, from the tribe of Asher, this will be. Haute pro bebequia in hemerais polis. Cesasa meta andros ete hepta apotes partheneus autes. So she was, we've had this verb before, probino, used with in a perfect here. This is a perfect participle from probino, was advanced. Literally advanced in many days. In other words, she was very old. Cesasa, having lived, this is from Tsao, meta andros, with her husband. Notice we get, normally in Greek you would elide that alpha and you'd have metandros, but they don't here, that's meta-andros. So having lived with her husband for ete hepta, for 7 years, apotes partheneus autes, from her maidenhood, from when she was an unmarried woman, kai aute kera heos eton ogdoerkon ta tesaron, and she was a widow literally unto her 84th year. So she was now 84, but husband must have died fairly early in the piece, and she'd spent all of these years alone as a widow. Hey uk aphistato. This is from aphistami, a later form of aphistami, but with the same meaning. It's got the sense here of to leave or to withdraw, to stand away from. So she did not withdraw from the temple, she didn't depart from the temple, Latruusa, serving Nukta Kai Hemeran by day and night, Nesteas, with fastings and with prayers. This is from Deasis. If you're looking this one up, Deasis. This is the dative plural. It's one of those third declension feminine nouns. It's connected with deamai, to ask for something. So petitions. So serving by day and night with fasting and petitions or prayers. Kai Aute te hora, and on that very hour, Epistasa, standing, well, probably standing beside them. It may be standing near the Jesus, but it's just Epistasa standing. Anth homologetai to theo. This is anti plus homologio, which means to give thanks in return for something. So at that hour, standing there, she was giving thanks to God and was speaking regarding him, that is Jesus, to all those waiting for or expecting the lutrosis, the redemption, Hierusalem of Jerusalem. And that's the next section from chapter 2.